Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Decker. With me, as always, my co-host, the Mark Zone, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
Missing in action once again, the Whale Man, because...
He's in Chicago.
For whatever reason.
Watching the Chicago game.
Is that really what he's doing?
I don't know.
Nah, he sucks.
Maybe.
Anyway, we got a lot to go over today, Mike. We've got the college football playoff. We promised it. As we were going off the air last week, they were about to announce the official Final Four and the matchups. Who's number one, who's number two. That was the big controversy. LSU grabbing that top spot against, and then Ohio State's 2. We've got Clemson at 3, and then Oklahoma sneaking in there at number 4. So we had those matchups. We were going to break down those matchups in great detail. We've kind of done it on the quarterback side, but now we're going to go overall team. Who is our matchups, and we're going to declare national champion by the end of part 1 of this episode. Later, we're going to talk Joe Burrow becoming, once again, Mr. Heisman for LSU, so they got to be stoked about that, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not a good warning. I don't know. It always depends, because like, if you're the Heisman, I feel like you have like that expectation that you should just be the man. Yeah. So
and his fantastic speech he gave.
Yeah, right. I know, right? Ed Orgeron almost coughed up whatever he's been hacking on for 45 years. It was a whole thing. But we're going to talk about him winning the Heisman, if he's the rightful owner of that Heisman trophy. I don't know if anybody else you think maybe has a claim to that trophy. We're going to also break down Michigan, Alabama. It's official. That's going to be the bowl game for you Wolverine fans out there. Spartan fans, I'm going to be honest with you. You're what, 6-6? No one cares.
You play Wake Forest.
Woo! Exactly. So no one cares. If you don't beat Wake Forest, I don't know what to tell you. But we're going to break down the Michigan-Alabama bowl game, and then at the end of the show, we're going to preview the Wrestle Kingdom card for New Japan Pro Wrestling, their biggest show of the year. It's the WrestleMania-type show. We're going to break that down because for the first time ever, it is 2 nights, folks. So if you are a professional wrestling fan, as much as we are, it's something that you got to be really looking forward to at the very beginning of 2020. So let's just jump right in, Mike. Let's do what we do best. College football playoff. Matchups are set. It's the number 1 team in the country, LSU, versus number 4, Oklahoma. And then we've got Ohio State versus Clemson. Yes. Now, I mean, and to be fair, we've already said, right, that it's going to be 1 and 4 first.
Yes,
right, this year?
They have the 4 o'clock games this year. And then the 8 o'clock game is the Clemson-Ohio State game.
Right, which I think is better, in my personal opinion.
I do think, because over the last couple years, they always did 3 and 2 first. Yeah. But I do think they try to put the best matchup last. Yeah. Because you would think that, like, 2 years ago it was Clemson, Alabama, and then Georgia and Oklahoma were the other game. You would just assume Clemson, Alabama was going to be better. Right. So, like, I think they try to at least assume which one's going to be better and put the better one last, but it doesn't always work that way, but I think they did it right.
Right, I think, absolutely. I think that the Clemson-Ohio State game is going to be phenomenal. I think that's going to be the one. I think LSU's going to go right through Oklahoma, in my personal opinion, but let's break down the 1 and 4 matchup first, because that seems a little more clear-cut for a lot of people outside of the state of Oklahoma, I guess. You've got Heisman Trophy winner Bo Burrows, we're going to talk about in a second, but we're going to talk about how LSU undefeated this year, right? They've basically, any challenge that they've had over really the last 2 seasons, this is a 2-season culmination, I think, for LSU in a lot of ways, right? Last year was a year where they were on the way, right? They had big wins over big teams. It felt like they were playing a ranked opponent every single week, and they were usually getting the W there. But for whatever reason, they just didn't get that national acclaim. They had a loss or 2 last year where you kind of like, okay, you could feel it, right? You could kind of feel the momentum. Ed Orgeron really doing a nice job there at LSU. So this really feels like a 2-year culmination where it's like, all right, now's the time. We got our guy at quarterback. We're gonna be explosive on offense. We're gonna do just enough on defense, and we're gonna win a lot of football games. And they've done that with their big statement wins over both Bama and Georgia, right, in the SEC championship game. On the other side, though, you've got an Oklahoma team. Jalen Hurts is there, right? That offense is still humming. The defense, as you mentioned last week, drastically improved, right? So you've got a tale of 2 different teams here. Oklahoma's always been kind of riding like underneath a little bit, where I don't know if you feel this way. It's similar to Clemson, where I feel like they're not getting as much buzz because they've been here, done that almost. Where I feel like outside of the Jalen Hurts story, Oklahoma, I get it. You're a good offense. You're a good team. You know what I mean? So
I think Oklahoma was probably their last choice. They were like, okay, we really like Oregon, then they lose. Utah's got that great defense, they lose. And then you're sitting there going, maybe Baylor because they were undefeated. Oklahoma wins. And you go, damn. Okay, I guess we'll put this. Like, I don't think it was when you look at it, or like even Wisconsin, you're like, maybe Wisconsin pulls out this win.
Right.
Maybe we can see.
Or maybe Bama, if they don't lose to Auburn, you can technically make the argument where you're like, well, but then Tua gets hurt too, so you're like, wow, we're really screwed. You know what I mean?
So then it kind of just like almost fell into Oklahoma. Literally got this fell into their just win. And you're in.
Pretty much.
Exactly. That's all it came down to.
By hook or by crook, they are in the Final Four once again. Is there any pressure on Lincoln Riley to get this win at all? I mean, they've been now a couple times, haven't gotten it done. They lost to Georgia, 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Last year, who'd they lose to? They lost to Bama, right? Yes. Last year.
And a couple years ago, they lost to Clemson. So they're 0-3 in the Final Four.
Right. And and Lincoln Riley, as much as he is an offensive guru in many states, but at the same time, winning the Big 12, that's a hunky-dory. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting to that national championship level, if you're not getting to the game and you're not winning that game, at some point, in all honesty, you have Bob Stoops for forever too, but at some point I think you'd have to be a little frustrated because you're like, maybe he's great, but maybe he can't get it all the way.
He's almost like the hardball with Michigan where you're like, we just need you to win the Big Ten, and you're like close but you can't get there.
Right.
Now you got Lincoln Riley over here who's like, just win it. We get there we got there the last 4 years.
Right.
Just win the game, and then they can't go up to win the game.
Yeah.
That's like their one bench.
They've had the top 2 picks in the draft the past 2 seasons, and they still couldn't beat Bama or Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's a tough stretch for sure. Because then you look and you see some immediate success for Baker last year. This year, Kyler Murray kind of finding his group. So you're seeing these guys play so well at the pro level, and you're just like, man, if we could only get a defense that could stop somebody or make that one last play.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just kind of been like one of those things. So do you think there's any pressure whatsoever on him to get it done this year in particular, or are you just kind of like, well, you're still in the top 4, so how much?
It's a double-sided coin on that stance. Like, yeah, you did make it to the Final Four, but at this point, it's almost like you're in the Alabama where you should be making it to the Final Four,
right?
Because you play in the Big 12, you're easily the best team in the Big 12,
right.
And you've gotten here 4 times. Now you need the win.
Yeah.
It's a different story of this is their second time in.
Yeah.
Okay,
if this was Utah, I don't think the pressure necessarily is
exactly.
to win the game
because you're just like, okay, you got there. That was
that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Oklahoma, it's like you could probably get there for the next 5 years in a row if you really wanted to for how good of an offense you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
So now you're just kind of like, okay, now you need the win.
Right.
LSU hasn't even been in this yet. So now LSU is.
The pressure and honestly, the pressure I think is all on LSU. You're undefeated. Yeah. You got the Heisman Trophy winner. You got a lot of stuff where it's like,
because when you're Oklahoma, you go in last year. You went in. Everyone's like, yeah, you won't win.
Right.
And they were like, okay, we'll prove you. And then they just kind of get out. And it's the exact same story this year where everyone's going, yeah, they're not going to win this one.
Right.
So I don't know if that lessens their pressure, knowing okay, we're 13-point underdogs in a Final Four matchup. So that's quite a bit. So I don't know if that's enough to put pressure on you. Mm-hmm. I think it does because I think you eventually have to win one game.
Right, just one at once. Yeah, right. Honestly, it's funny. It's like I feel like in professional sports, a lot of times you win a championship, right? Whether it's a Super Bowl, the national championship, you get 5 years.
Yeah.
Immediately tacked on before you actually have to do anything else, right? So if you win a national championship, Ed Orgeron will be the coach at LSU for the next 8 years, right? Just by de facto. Les Miles won a national championship with Marcus Russell. They were not even that good the rest of that time, and he was still there. You know what I mean? So it's like you get time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Once you do that, so I do think there's some pressure on Lincoln Riley. I think he's getting credit for there's no drop off in Oklahoma, right? When Bob Stoops stepped down, but now once again you're gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, TikTok, just a little bit. Now from the LSU side, you're the number 1 team. You have the Heisman Trophy winner. You've been undefeated all year. You beat a good Georgia team. You beat a good Alabama team. You're the number 1 team in the country. And this is, Oklahoma, we just talked about how there's some pressure on their side, but they're fighting a team, honestly, that has nothing to lose in the grand scheme of things. We're going for it full bore. We're going to throw everything we can at you. Are you concerned at all that they are looking past Oklahoma? And are you concerned at all that, for whatever reason, this is a game where LSU's offense just goes Well, what the hell's going on?
I don't think they're going to look past them, but I wouldn't be shocked also if they go down 14-0 early.
Yeah.
To the point that they're
everyone's
just
freaking out.
Yeah, they're just like, guys, we cannot mess up.
Right.
So almost they're going to be the conservative team throwing 3-yard hitch routes.
Right. Trying not to make the mistake.
You don't want to, let's not throw this pick six early. Let's not let their defense get hot. Let's just keep it calm and control. And then they're going to have a couple 3-and-outs. Jalen Hurts like, we have to do something.
Yeah, we got to score now.
Because Alabama last year put up 28-0 against us, and that's how we lost. So this year we gotta score 7,
right.
And if it's 7-0, you're already better than you were last year.
Right.
So then they're gonna go balls to the walls to score that first touchdown, and then they're gonna be out early in the game. I think when LSU collects themselves and they get into the groove of the game, I think that's when like second, third quarters.
Do you think that in this particular game, based off of the matchup, and I know it's a little cliche to say, but the very first drive, especially if Oklahoma gets the ball, how important is that first drive if you are the Oklahoma Sooners? I think that's like that right there is a turn. I know it's stupid to say because it's like the beginning of the game, you have the rest of the game to play, but I think it is a ginormous drive if you don't score.
I said last week that I think if Oklahoma wins the coin toss, they should receive to go up
7.
So to go up 7, because then you're up 7-0. Then they tie, and then you're playing almost like for their overtime rules. You're almost playing like, okay, now let's see what they do.
Right. Yeah. So if we have to punt, we have to force anything we do. They have to.
Yeah. So we score a touchdown. So now you're forcing LSU to score because then you almost have a free drive after that going. We're up 7 with the ball. So now it's like, what do you want to do with this kind of thing? You know what I mean? Right. So I think that's how this game's going to be played. Unlike the other game, where I think it's going to be completely different. Right. I think this one's going to be Oklahoma has to go up 7, and then it's okay. So you scored, now we have to score.
Anything,
you know what I mean?
Anytime either offense, because both offenses are fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
That I think anytime a defense can force either get off the field without a point or just force a field goal, because field goals in college are not gimmies anymore.
No.
I think that I think those are wins. Exactly. Right? Those are small victories within the game where you can go, okay. They only scored 3 that time. So if we go down and score, that's a
4-point swing
right away. Yeah. Exactly.
So I think that's Oklahoma's key to win is just kind of match what LSU does.
Keep it close. Give yourself a shot at the end of the game to win the game. To win the game. That's the biggest thing. Absolutely. So give me a score and who wins this football game.
Ooh. I do think it will be
I think it's going to be high. I think it's going to be high.
Let's see. I'm going to check the over-under to see how crazy this is going to be. This is probably off the charts
what's Vegas saying, right?
Yeah, Vegas has got some crazy stuff going, like usual.
Right.
75.5 combined points.
That's a lot of points.
So it's like a 40-35 type of score that they have in this one.
Good Lord.
So if I was betting that, I'd probably bet the over, because I'm going to assume it's probably like a 42-39.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Type
really?
Like
so you think that's how close this margin is going to wind up being? Is a 3-point game, like where at the end of the day it's going to be like, it was a 3-point game.
Yeah.
At the end
I think if it's how I think that it will start off, I think it will.
You think it's going to start off really hot, and then we're going to see a point where like no offense can do anything for like a quarter and a half.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. And I think like when you're looking for offensive, if you want an offensive game, it's funny how this really played out.
Yeah.
If you want the offensive game, you look at this one. If you want the defensive game, you go to the 8 o'clock game.
Absolutely. So you're going to say 42-39. Who's getting the win here?
Oh, LSU.
LSU.
I don't know if it actually be that good. I mean, you're set at 12.5 spread, so they're really like there's really no chance.
Yeah, right. I think that's a very wide spread. I mean, they are the number 4 team in the country. I do think Oklahoma's offense is good enough to keep pace. Yeah. I just don't know if they can make the one big play or force the one turnover against LSU to really get them out there. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say it's a little bit lower, though. I'm going to say more of like a 38-30, just a smidge. Okay. Like 38, like I think that's the top of my barometer for me, just because I'm like, defenses have to play up in this game. As much as the offenses will, at some point, somebody on the defensive side has got to make a play. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, 5-6 touchdowns, that's a lot of scoring. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't care if it's college or not, that's a lot of scoring. All right, so we both have LSU going to the finals. Let's talk the other game now, Ohio State, Clemson. This is the game that I know I'm looking forward to the most by far. This is the most anticipated game I've wanted to see all year. Yeah. Like, low-key. Like, I am so excited for this game. I hope Clemson comes out and beats the living dog poop out of Ohio State. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be that way, necessarily, but give me your analysis on where Ohio State's mindset is going into this game. They're undefeated, Big Ten champions again. Had a minor scare against Wisconsin, but then came the second half and blew the doors right off.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your mindset going in?
I would be... See, I'm a big Clemson fan here.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan.
Yeah.
So going into this, I'm also hoping that Clemson just absolutely destroys Ohio State. But if I was Ohio State, I would actually feel quite confident going in because you have a strong running attack.
Oh my gosh.
And you have the defense to kind of back you up with
Absolutely.
a Heisman contender in Chase Young. And just that defense as a whole, you have like a top 5 overall corner. He's probably going to be
He's probably the best man-to-man corner in the draft.
In the draft.
If he declares, yeah.
Yeah, so you have all of that surrounding your defense where you can go, listen, maybe the Trevor Lawrence not playing anybody all year really does come up to provision and maybe he makes a couple mistakes. Well, history hasn't shown it.
Yeah.
But if I was Ohio State, I would be optimistic in that sense of maybe
Are you concerned at all that Wisconsin, especially in the first half, Michigan in the first half, right? They really attacked the defensive secondary of Ohio State, right? They went up over the top. They tried to make big plays happen early. Do you think Clemson, with a better quarterback, potentially the best quarterback in the nation, and a guy who's never lost, he's played on this stage before against the best defense in the country, that he's going to go out and he's just going to, that first half, he's going to go 12 for 12 for 3 touchdowns?
I would. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be shocked.
Like that. I feel like that's the one thing. If I'm Ohio State, I'm like, man, I had Shea Patterson, and I don't even know what's the quarterback from Wisconsin's name. Doesn't matter. He's not anything of any sort of relevance. So the fact that those two guys came in, especially in the first half, and dictated the pace against our defense. Especially Chase Young, once again, has not been a massive factor in these two games, especially early.
I know. I will say, though, when you look at some of the film from Chase Young, they are triple.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's no one picture out there with Wisconsin literally putting 3 linemen, shifting them over on Chase Young. At that point, you go, listen, that's all
someone else has got to play. Someone else has got to make a play. Right. That shows you how important he is. The point being is that if Clemson, who is the top of the top, right? They're not going to let a team or one guy dictate what they do offensively. So if you're Ohio State, if your other guys aren't getting home and you are letting Trevor Lawrence sit back there in the pocket and you're not getting that rush from Chase Young, it's over. No offense. I don't care what you're doing on offense. It is over because he's going to pick you apart.
I was going to say, I think Clemson probably has arguably the second best receiving core in this Final Four.
Right.
Probably next to, you can argue, LSU or Oklahoma. With their top guys.
LSU's hands always scare me a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I think Oklahoma with CeeDee Lamb itself is just probably the best.
Right.
But I think Clemson has number 2 with T. Higgins out there and stuff. You got amazing. Travis Etienne is probably the best running back out of the 4.
So give me this then. If you're Clemson, right, what are you concerned with going into now that you know you're playing Ohio State, right? What is your primary focus in getting this victory? Offensive or defense, I don't care. What's your number? If you're Dabo swinging on the whiteboard, you're saying, number 1, this is what we must do in order to win this football game.
Well, at first glance, I think you would look at Chase Young as the first glance, be like, yep, this is the guy. Yep. But I actually think it's just to stop the run.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. Absolutely.
I think absolutely number 1.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the receivers with their quarterback to be able to really beat you. Like, unlike the LSU-Oklahoma game, which is going to be completely different if they make it to there, this game is going to be more reliant on ground and pound and running the ball up you.
Right.
If you can stop them and get them under 3 yards a carry, I don't know if Justin Fields is going to be thrown over the top this whole game and successfully doing it for
if you're getting them in
quarters.
long-term situations where, once again, you're not putting yourself in a situation like Michigan did where you're out of position in key third down moments. You saw earlier in that Michigan game, Ohio State, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 17, right? And yet they're still converting. That won't happen, I don't think, against the Clemson defense. I just don't think it's going to happen.
And to Kyle's point, when we were talking about Michigan, Ohio State, I do think the key is send a lot of guys on early down situations
and then
put them in the 3rd and 17, drop back. The problem that Michigan couldn't handle is they just couldn't get off the field on the 3rd and 18.
Right.
The problem is I think Clemson will get off the field on 3rd and 18. Right. I think that's going to be Ohio State's downfall.
If this game, we're anticipating this game to be more of a defensive struggle, right? Because these defenses are better, for the most part, on paper. Let's just say, for instance, though, that this game is not like that, and we get maybe a second shootout, or maybe the other game as a defense struggle for whatever reason, right? And we had that because we're saying it's one way, so it's obviously going to go the other. So if this game is a shootout, in your opinion, who does that favor and why? Because theoretically, you can make the case Ohio State's offense lives on the big play, right? Their speed is second to none. So without that, right, you may have a chance. But if you can't stop the big play, you may be in trouble. Does that favor Clemson or does it favor Ohio State if this goes shootout?
I think it would favor Clemson only because I think the defense in a shootout, if you're like, guys, one stop to do this to win to go to the national championship, I would trust Clemson's defense to lock down. Vice versa, Ohio State's to lock down Clemson's offense. Mm-hmm. So I think, say there's 2 minutes left, Clemson's down 4. Yeah. I'm like, Trevor Lawrence is going to probably get you down there. Mm-hmm. They score. Okay, now Clemson's got a D up. I would trust that situation more than I would, okay, Justin Fields, 80 yards, get me down there, we're down 4, go get us a touchdown. I don't know if I would trust that as much.
Right. And obviously they're going in a little bit banged up too. Justin Fields is not 100% still, right? We know that going in. But let's talk about, so give me a score, give me your prediction of who wins it. Who's favored right now, by the way? Is Ohio State favored?
So it's weird. So ESPN Power Football Index has Ohio State at 54%, but the spread is Clemson -2.
Wow, that's weird. So ESPN says that they should be favored, but they're not in Vegas.
Yeah, so Vegas, so they have a separate, they're differentiating.
Yeah.
So I would say I would go with Vegas probably with the betting odds because more people are betting it, and 60% of people say that Clemson's probably going to win.
Okay.
So Clemson's going to be favored. Right.
Well, I mean, you're the defending national champions. You're undefeated, just like Ohio State is, right? I think you saw chinks in the armor potentially against teams like Michigan and Wisconsin for Ohio State, but once again, it's one game, right? Yeah. So in your mind, what's the score? Who wins the game?
I think it's about 31-27 Clemson.
31-27.
I do think it's a little higher, but I think it would go. The over/under's at 64, so I think it would probably go to under.
I would not be shocked to see Trevor Lawrence. They be down, and Trevor Lawrence had one of those Eli Manning type plays. You know what I mean?
Where like a crazy play to T. Higgins or something.
And he just at the end of it just somehow made it just to make a throw. Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a play like that one way or the other. I'm going to say I'm going to agree with you to it's going to be a little bit low scoring, right? I'm going to say something. It's going to be crazy like 31-28. I think it's going to be right up on it, and I think it's going to be a last second field goal gets the win. Okay. I think they are so close in so many ways. They play such different games, but they're built kind of the same in a lot of ways. This game is going to be fun. Yeah. It's going to be really exciting.
I think there's one interesting thing that Clemson has that no one else in this has is since they played a weaker schedule.
Yeah. No one knows.
No one really knows what they are.
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
I think that's the scary thing because Ohio State, we can mention, against Michigan, they got them in the 3rd and 18s. If they just got off the field, it would be close. Right. LSU doesn't have that strong defense. Oklahoma has even a weaker defense, but they're about the same. Clemson, you go, they didn't really play anybody, so
they've done it last year, so
they did it last year, so you should be good. Their defense has been good all year, but again, you're not playing anybody. Their offense has been extraordinary. They haven't played, so it's like, do they have a weakness? I guess no one really knows.
Who can figure out who first is really the primary focus. Absolutely. All right, let's go in now. Based off our hypotheticals, right? We're saying LSU and Clemson, so it's 1 versus 3 in that matchup. We're not going to delve too much into the analysis necessarily just yet, guys, because we're going to wait till see after the games who is actually in the final. So we're not going to break down this game as if they're actually playing because we don't know that yet. But I do want you, Mike, give me a national champion. And give me a national champion based off of who you think wins those first 2 games, and give me a score, and hopefully we'll be talking, then we can break down the game in the future after we actually know the results.
I'm going to say Clemson over them. I'm going to give it a...
oh man, that's
31-27 win.
Oh man, that's close. Yeah,
exact same score.
That would be crazy. Yeah, I think that. You know what's funny is I almost, in so many ways, I really do hope that these are the results because I do think that LSU and Clemson would be a much better game than I think LSU and Ohio State would be.
I see. I think the
story is better the other way. Right, but I think the game would be better Clemson and LSU.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like I just think overall game quality,
I think all the pregame on ESPN and everything would be so amazing. Like Joe Burrow went to here, then he transferred over, and now they're both undefeated, and now and I think like the story of it and everything really makes it why I'm like really worried about Clemson's chances because I feel like if something happens, they're going to push toward the story. Yeah. We're not going to say anything about it, but if something happens.
For sure, and that's what we're going to wait to see.
So we're going to wait to see about it, but I do think Clemson LSU would be like...
the game.
Yes. Yeah. Joe Burrow, the Heisman versus Trevor Lawrence, the undefeated. king of college football right now would be fantastic.
Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But it's going to be very interesting. I think that... No offense to Oklahoma, but I think, honestly, 3 out of the 4 teams legitimately have a chance. I don't think Oklahoma has enough on the defensive side, and I think that they're one turnover away from their whole game plan being exploded.
Do you think this season ruins the expansion of the playoff?
No.
The talk about it?
No, I don't, because you were so close to disaster this year, and I think that you very well could have seen a situation where you're like, oh, crap. You know what I mean? Like, in all honesty, right? Like, you could have... Like, if Oklahoma would have lost that game, right? Who gets in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in all honesty, who gets in? You've got a whole bunch of 2-loss teams for fighting for number 4, and a lot of them can all make that case. Because then Oregon could have made their case, right?
Yeah.
Bama, theoretically, I know you can't, but you could have made that case. You could have made the case for a lot of these teams. So it's like, you were close. I personally think that... And 2, I think it would give the possibility for these teams like a Utah or something like that, where you don't necessarily have to be perfect to have like that one run in order to get there, right? Like if you're a top 8 team, that's hard. That's hard to be a top 8 team in college football. So I would like to see it outside of what Harbaugh or what Michigan thinks, right? Because Michigan wouldn't have been in it either. But I do think that you would get a more definitive game. I don't think they will ever go to that though. That's let's talk about that after the season's ending, because depending on the quality of these games, because we're anticipating some really high quality games. If these games suck, then I think that lends credibility even more.
I think like last year, how all the games were blowouts. People were like, we don't want
8 teams. I want 8 teams.
No, I thought it was the opposite, where people don't want 8 teams because everything was going to be a blowout.
Oh, okay.
Like you have 4 playoff games that are all blowouts.
I was in the other camp because I was like, this sucks, so I would rather see like the West for an upset. Because I'd like to then see an underdog team like a Western from a couple years ago was undefeated.
Yeah.
They somehow pull an upset over Oklahoma. Okay, now they're playing a Bama. Let's see what the hell happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it just lends it for a little bit more. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament, right? Where you get that one team every year where you're like, they made it to the Sweet 16, and then they got demolished. But that we're not going to talk about that. But it's going to be interesting for sure. So you got Clemson. I'm going to take LSU over Clemson. I think that LSU gets it done, and everybody freaks out and thinks that Trevor Lawrence sucks again until the summer, and then he throws 100 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to say LSU wins it. I'm going to say 28-27.
Okay.
I think they win by 1. But I know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? Like the smidgen, the smallest of margins for sure. But we'll talk about that more as we go. After the break, we're going to talk Burrow, Heisman. He did it. Proud of you. So awesome. Then we're going to talk Alabama and Michigan, that bowl game, and if it means anything for either team and who is it more important for. And then we're also going to preview the New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom card, the biggest show of the year for New Japan, and possibly of the entire 2020 year, and it's happening January 4th. So stay tuned for all that. After the break, stick around. And welcome back to part 2 of the I Will Right Sports Podcast, episode 55, Mike. Man, I'm getting old. All right, let's talk about it.
I felt that.
Right? Mr. LSU Tiger himself, former Buckeye, Mr. Burrow, gets the Heisman nod. We talked about this last year with Kyler Murray winning the Heisman, right? And whether he deserved it or not. Is there any doubt in your mind whatsoever that he did not deserve to win the Heisman this year?
No, not at all. When I was watching the ceremony, when you look at the 4
body of work,
there are a lot of his body. He has like 48 touchdowns this year. I went, I think that looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Overall, I just went, who else would you give it to? Like Chase Young, you're not there yet. Like
plus you don't play offense.
Yeah.
Like no offense, but like you're not Woodson. It's not happening.
Like Justin Fields, I said it's a great story, but he's not. And now he's in his sophomore year, so I do think if he does the same thing next year, I think there's a very good possibility he wins it next year.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jalen Hurts, I was like, when you look at just his passing stats, which I look at as a quarterback, I would go, okay, I take his passing stats and as the main thing, and then rushing stats afterwards, kind of like Lamar, where I go, how is he as a passer, and then running just everything extra. And he had 32 touchdowns and a couple of picks. I went, that's not great. He did have 18 touchdowns rushing, but I'm like,
Right.
Yes. So I went LSU or Joe Burrow. I think 48 touchdowns throwing. I think that's enough to give you the nod.
Right. Absolutely. No, I know. I was kind of surprised Trevor Lawrence wasn't in the conversation. You're undefeated 2 straight years, national champion. He's been on I know he had some interceptions early on in the year. Once again, it's that Clemson thing where don't get me wrong. I'm not really a Clemson fan necessarily. Like I'm not like hopping on the train by any means. But I do think it's weird that a team that hasn't lost a game in 2 years is somehow being underlooked for some reason.
Yeah.
And a guy like that where I'm like, man, I get it as a freshman, right? Okay, he comes out of nowhere, he wins the national championship, it's a Cardell Jones type story. But then he goes and does it again this year where they're undefeated again. He's putting up great numbers again. He hasn't thrown a pick in like 3 months, and yet he's not even in consideration. I was a little surprised by that. I do think Fields and Young were hurt by each other by being both in the top 4, though, because then it's like, oh, well, you have good players.
Yeah,
on both sides. You know what I mean? So it's like, you didn't have an LSU cornerback.
I did think going in number 2 was Jalen Hurts, but I think it was like Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Like,
right.
As a video, there's a big discrepancy
there. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. No, I just thought it was interesting. Congratulations. What is his ceiling from a pro perspective? Right?
Yeah.
Do you think that this? If let's just say LSU wins the national championship, right? Does that propel him to a first-round status? Is that a second? Is he a second-round guy?
I think he's a top 2-round guy.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on the situation.
The team goes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Like I think there's some teams that just go, no, I like this guy better. Just
Cincinnati fans are already clamoring for him.
Yeah.
Cincinnati fans are already like, let's go right now.
I think Cincinnati's a place where he could flourish too.
Yeah.
Where I think I think his style of play is good, where he's mobile enough and can make almost any throw that you want, and so I think he's just an increase there. But I do think he needs to sit a year.
Right.
I don't think he's like there yet. He's not like Andrew Luck, where he's just like plug and play.
Yep.
He's not like or Blake Baker, how they're just gonna like plug and play him and everything.
Yep.
I don't think he's a plug and play, but I think if you give him a year or two to sit behind like Andy Dalton or whatever, and give him a year, get some more things around him, and then that's the year where they'll just flourish.
Do you think that out of the possible quarterbacks that could be coming out, right? Because Hurts is coming out this year. Jake Fromm is probably going to come out, right? He's going to come out. A couple of other guys. Do you think he's the top quarterback? Tua's another guy, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if you are Cincinnati, or let's just say Miami, for example, right? Is he the guy that you're looking at? Just being, okay, do I like somebody better than him?
I think if you need a guy right now, I don't think so. But I think if you can wait, like if like Cincinnati I think every team can wait. I don't think anyone's like Cincinnati's like we get this guy, we can go, or like Miami. I don't think there's a team that would take him. That's like we're just gonna take you, plug you in, and go, and we're championship level. Piece, Like I don't think they're waiting for that. So I think him and Justin Herbert, I think you could just take in, go sit a year or two, and then they could just be great.
I don't know one team though. I do think could do that theoretically, right? The Colts. I think that is the one team because Brissett. I don't think Brissett is necessarily the answer for the future, right? And as much as they've built that team on a lot of youth and really good, solid foundation of players, Quentin Nelson, you have that linebacker, that plays out there. You still got a older T.Y. Hilton out there who can help you out. You know what I mean? You got some teams where and they're playoff contention right now. Theoretically, they could be.
Yeah.
I think that giving him 8 games to sit and then letting him take over with Frank Reich as the coach there, I think that would be a great spot.
I don't know how much they believe in Tannehill, but Tennessee could be a team that's like that too.
They're looking at extending, but that's right. You're right. But absolutely, he's flourishing right now on a team that was ready-made because Mariota couldn't get it done.
Yeah, right. But I think Tennessee. I think both those teams in that division, where I think
Tampa too.
Tampa, I think those are that's a good 3 teams.
Right, but once again though, they're not in the top of the draft though, so they would either have to trade up or they would wait to get them. But once again, I think there's more quarterbacks taken before that. Then.
I think there's gonna be like 5 quarterbacks taken early this year because all these teams.
Can't wait for draft time. So close, man. So close. I think dismal season being over. Can't wait.
Oakland's another team. I think if they don't believe in Carr, I think that's a team where you can plug and play.
There's several teams. I'm excited to talk about that though because it's going to be a quarterback heavy draft.
I do think. Long story short, I do think either Jalen Hurts or Burrow will probably be the first one. But I wouldn't be shocked at Herbert. But I think Herbert kind of killed him. Like
in the big games, he just for whatever reason, they could not get it done.
Not even the big games, but against like Arizona State.
But I'm saying, like games where like you control your own destiny. It's like, dude, like you're the best player on the field. Go score. Like let's go. Yeah, so it's tough for sure. All right, let's jump in now to this Alabama-Michigan matchup for a second here. They're playing the Citrus Bowl. Am I right on that?
Citrus Bowl Orange. Is that the same thing?
Citrus Bowl? I think Orange and Citrus. I think it doesn't matter. Who cares?
I will look it up, Rob.
You're gonna look it up for me?
Yeah, but you can keep talking, and I'll just look it up and tell you.
But Alabama,
they're in the Citrus Bowl,
right?
Yeah.
So we got a 3-loss Michigan team against a 2-loss Bama team. This is probably. I don't know if there's another game out there that I'm not aware of, but outside of out of the Final Four, this is probably the top game people are looking at watching. Am I wrong on that? Is there another game where where's Georgia? I mean.
Oregon, Wisconsin would be a pretty good one.
That's pretty close, I would say. I guess.
Georgia, Baylor, but Baylor's a little weaker, so I don't think that's. I would say those are the top.
As far as like blue blood programs, you know what I mean, where it's like everyone's a lot of fanfare coming from both sides.
USC, Iowa. Just because, I don't know, maybe Iowa's not in the perfect spot. I'm excited for
Iowa's boring.
I like USC, but...
But, yeah, so, I mean, one of the top games outside of the Final Four, that you're going out to, and it's two teams who everybody, for whatever reason, thought was going to be in the Final Four anyway. I don't know why you thought that with Michigan, but it's fine. But a game necessarily, right, you got some guys already saying they're not going to play, right? Like Uche's not going to play, right? I think he's declared. Is he not going to play?
No, he's going to play.
He is going to play?
He said he's going to play.
He's declared? Okay, right?
Actually, this is interesting. There's a lot of guys that are going to play this
Really?
year.
That's surprising to me. But I know that you're going to have guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones are probably going to leave, right? Shea's last game. Yeah. You've got guys out there. Obviously, Tua's not going to play.
Yeah.
What's the spread on that game? I'm interested to see with Tua being out. I can't imagine Michigan's favored.
No, Alabama's favored by 7.
By 7, right? I think that's a fair responsibility. Do you think this game matters at all for either team? Like, in the grand scheme of things. Like, if Harbaugh and Michigan go out and beat Saban by 2 scores, right? Without Tua, right? So you're playing this freshman dude or whatever. Does that matter?
See, I'm not big into momentum from previous year to current year.
Yeah.
Especially in college.
Just for a resume standpoint, right? Like, I don't think this game matters at all to Alabama.
No, I don't think it matters really to either. I guess if Michigan said, we beat Alabama, I think that's like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think for either team it's like, oh my God, we beat Alabama. Now next year we're gonna go roll through. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
We're gonna hear that though.
No, I know.
We're gonna get that immediately as soon as this game happens. If Michigan wins, we beat Alabama. We should be rolling for next year.
Yeah. See, I don't believe in, especially in college. NFL, I think you can have a little momentum.
But it's the same team.
Yeah, you beat this team.
Same.
You beat Chicago, the Packers, Lions get a little momentum into next year. I think that is a thing if you beat like divisional opponents.
For sure.
But like
Absolutely.
Michigan's like, oh, we beat Alabama.
Right.
We're going to roll into next year. You won't have your quarterback. You don't have the same receivers.
Right.
Your running backs are different. Like, everyone's leaves and it's different. So I'm like, there's not really the momentum. So I don't think it really means anything except to John Harbaugh's bowl record, which at the end of the day doesn't really mean anything either.
Right.
Because bowl record, if you're not in the Final Four, doesn't really matter.
Right, and I agree with you. on that.
Unfortunately.
I do think this matters a little bit more to Harbaugh than it does. Obviously, Saban's got the rings, but I do think it matters a little bit for Harbaugh just because, like, geez, man, like, we haven't won he's like 1-4 in bowl games. You know what I mean? That's not spectacular. He lost to Florida State. Who did they lose to last year? Florida. They lost to Florida last year.
Yeah, they've always played Florida.
I know, right? In the same bowl all the time, too, for whatever reason. But
like, this is the one. Thank you.
We're meant to be here.
We know you guys can play in this one.
Yeah, exactly. You're always right there. But it's an interesting matchup nonetheless. I think it's something that Michigan fans are going to be looking forward to. Do you think, give me a prediction, who do you think wins that game?
I think Alabama wins, but I think it's a little closer because not a lot, like, Shea's not leaving, and you have all these guys who are actually playing in this game.
Right.
So I do think it's going to be legitimately a good game.
Yeah.
So I would say Alabama by, like, 4, maybe 7 or something. Like, I think maybe they cover, but it's closer than people think. Like, it's not going to be, like, 42-0. Like,
I'd love to see Michigan just go out and just chuck the ball a million times.
Oh, I would too. It would be awesome.
Just go.
Well, because this game's like a... It doesn't really. It's not like impactful to you. So it's like just do whatever you want. Do some
Citrus Bowl champs.
Like fake punt it and have some fun with it. You know what I mean?
You should start McCaffrey just for the hell of it.
Yeah, you should. Or start your freshman dude, your 5-star quarterback that you just got, or whatever.
Right, yeah, who cares, right? Well, whoever the next savior of Michigan football is, start him instead.
Yeah,
for sure.
Have some fun with it.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump. Let's jump now to the squared circle. We're going overseas, folks. Going to New Japan Pro Wrestling in the biggest show of their calendar year every year. The very stop that's kind of like the culmination of everything from the previous year. January was it the 4th and the 5th, 2020. Be there, be square. Wrestle Kingdom,
or watch it online. Because we won't be there.
No, we won't be there, but you know what I mean. But it is their biggest show of the year, similar to WrestleMania. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, everybody knows what WrestleMania is, right? Similar thing, just with a different company, right? And if you are a professional wrestling fan and you don't know what Wrestle Kingdom is, I don't know what you're doing, but you're going to need to go buy New Japan World and go watch previous years.
$9 a month.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. This card, though, for the first time ever, is interesting because it is actually a two-nighter. This is probably the biggest show, and I can remember in recent history at least, where it's broken down into 2 nights, right? And especially as big a promotion as this is, the kind of the momentum they got carrying in, especially their top 2 matches that we're going to talk about here in a second. So what we're going to go through here, we're going to kind of preview these cards and kind of give some predictions because we don't necessarily know what's going to be happening in a couple of these matches on night 2, and we'll explain that as we go. We're going to dedicate quite a bit of time here. The last topic on the show is this, so that we can kind of really give you guys a real preview going in just a couple weeks, guys. So if you guys are interested about what we're saying, be sure to definitely hit up New Japan World and hook this up because you're not going to want to miss it. If you're looking to get into pro wrestling, this is where you want to start for sure because this is going to get you fired up real quick and in a hurry. Yep. So let's go. Let's just start night 1 opener.
Night 1 opener. Okay, well, do you want these 8-man tags? Do you want me to go through all these?
No, you know what?
We'll go to the first. Okay,
give me
so
the first.
we have 3 special 8-man tags that set up matches for the next night for the most part, but we're going to go over those at a different time.
Yeah.
I'll tweet about it or something.
There you go.
So we're going to start with the 4th match out of 9 on this one.
This is night 1. We have 2 nights to cover.
So we're going to start with the heavyweight tag team championship match. We have Tangaloa and Tama Tonga taking on David Finlay and Juice Robinson, who won the World Tag League out of 30 teams or something crazy like that.
Right, exactly.
Who do you have and why?
So this match is going to be interesting. I think that I think it's time for Tama to have a singles run. So I think Juice and Dave actually get the win here. I think the tag league was extremely shallow this year. And I think they're trying to.
Well, they just added everybody.
I think they're trying to make a team. Is what they're trying to do with this, and they're trying to give Juice because I think Juice is somewhat over there right now.
Yeah.
I think they get the win because GOD's held the title, but they ain't doing nothing with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not have this title change?
Okay.
Really, my reason. Outside of that, I got nothing.
I'm just gonna say they retain to go different from you.
Yeah.
They're a great tag team, and I don't think this is the team that should do it. I think they should really make a team first.
That's why I think that they have. That's why I think they're gonna do it with these guys. I think I think they're gonna use the titles and the win to legitimize them as the world tag team. But I'm with you though. I think that's a coin flip game. And guys, just so you guys are aware too, as we're going through this, if you don't know some of these people, that's okay. It really is okay. Not everybody knows this, but if you do, then you should be able to follow along. If you don't, feel free, hit us up, we'll explain, or go on social media, go on Twitter. They're very active on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Really go do some digging if you're interested whatsoever, and obviously reach out to us at Mike Merkel, at Rob Mendyko, or at I'm Always Right for the Sports Podcast page as well. Hit us up with your questions or anything else like that.
So our second match, or technically 5th, we go the United States Championship match with as a Texas Death Match.
Ooh.
We will have Lance Archer as the champion, defending against Jon Moxley.
For you WWE fans, Jon Moxley used to be known as Dean Ambrose, right? You probably see him on AEW on Wednesday nights on TNT. I mean, this is a weird one because I don't know what Jon's relationship with New Japan is now, honestly. I think Jon gets the win, though, only because I think he wins it, and I think they use him to get somebody else over. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't think Archer's anything that great, but, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be shocked to see him win. I think why the whole Texas Deathmatch thing kind of lends it to that. But I also, I don't see the purpose of having Archer be the United States champion. So,
yeah, I'm going to have Archer win to retain because I don't think he's going to go over to do a lot of Japan stuff right now. Right. So I think they're just going to have Archer because he is the Japan guy. So I think he's going to win it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it gets him a big win.
Yeah, it gives him that huge staple win.
Yeah.
So 6th match, we got IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Will Ospreay, he is the champion, defending against coming back Hiromu Takahashi, who broke his neck last year. Yeah. And is coming back.
This one's tough for me. This is one that I've been thinking about because I think this match is a match where theoretically Will Ospreay, and if you don't know who Will Ospreay is, just type in Will Ospreay. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, he does.
But I think in this match in particular, I want to say Ospreay retains, but I feel like you need to get the junior title off him to let him progress. Yeah. So I think Takahashi's the only guy who could theoretically beat him. Yeah. And everyone would go, okay. Yeah. And then Ospreay goes on, U.S., that's why I think possibly Ambrose could win it and then drop it to Ospreay or something like that really quick. U.S. never open weight, IC title, depending on what they're going to do at the end of the show. But I'm going to say Takahashi wins, but it's one of those things where that's a coin flip.
Yeah, I have Takahashi winning also.
Yeah. Just only because Ospreay, I think, needs to get out of the junior divisions. Only reason I have.
That's exactly
because he's so hot. He's so hot right now.
He needs to be in other.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. Okay, let's keep going.
So these next two are interesting. So the winner of these next two matches will fight each other in a champion versus championship match to combine both titles. The losers are just in a singles match.
Now, before we go over these two, they're not dropping one of them, right? They're not gonna completely get rid of the Intercontinental Championship, right?
No. Okay. So they're gonna be a dual champion.
Yeah, dual champion, but I don't want to see it to where they've done it where all right, it's champion versus champion, and then the lower card title gets.
No, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna be double champion
I assume
until someone beats them for one of the two.
You're more up to date on it than I am.
That's okay. That's up to what I know. I guess.
Yeah, right.
So
it
for
sure.
Change.
Okay, yeah. These are the two biggest matches on night one by far. These four guys are probably top 10 in the world at what they do, and they're going to be hella great contests.
So we have Jay White, who is the IC champion, going to face Tetsuya Naito. Who do you have and why?
Boy, this is tough. This is really, really, really tough. I'm going to say Naito wins it. Okay. I'm going to say Naito wins it. I think you can get Jay White, who has had a phenomenal 2019, to a point without this crowning moment. You know what I mean? So I think that you have enough time. I think they have teased and prolonged this Naito thing, and I think this is Naito's year to really truly this is the time. Yeah. I really do think this is the time. So I do think that Naito wins the Intercontinental title again and goes to the main event of night 2.
Yes. I actually 100% agree with you. Yeah. I think Jay White in the main event, I don't think that's
I think they can get him to be the American guy that they want to build around. They can get him there, but they don't need to do this to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? No. I think they can make him world champion 6 months from now, and everyone goes, I get it. Yeah. But 100%. Right now, in this particular moment, he's been U.S. champion, he's been Intercontinental champion, he's been world champion already, and he's beaten big names to do it. I don't think this is his moment. I think next year we could be talking about him versus somebody for the title, and he wins, and everybody goes, oh yeah, totally, makes sense.
And so our main event for night one, we have Kazuchika Okada taking on Kota Ibushi, who won the G1 Climax for the world title. Who do you have and why?
I'm going to say Okada wins this match. I think that everyone thinks it's Ibushi with a layup, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's very similar to when Kenny won the G1 a couple years ago. Yeah. I don't think this is, and once again, this takes back to my point before, I don't think this is Kota's moment either. I really don't. I think the one guy that people aren't talking about enough is Naito. So I think Ibushi is going to lose this match in a hell of a great contest, but I think Okada wins, and I think it sets up for the third time at Wrestle Kingdom, Okada, Naito for the title versus title, and I think this is the moment. I'm going to ruin what the night 2 is, but I think this is the moment Naito becomes world champion, and we really roll with him.
See, I'm half in agreement with you, but I think Ibushi wins.
Right. Really?
Yes.
I feel like hot. I feel like my Naito thing. I feel like in my mind, Naito's crowning moment only works with him being Okada, because that's the one guy he can't beat. You know what I mean? In the biggest show, I should say. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked to see Ibushi win.
I think Ibushi's.
It just fits my narrative better if Okada wins.
Oh yeah, I just think Ibushi's hot right now, so I think Ibushi might end up winning it all. Because he's never been it, so I think he's just going to win them both.
Once again, I feel like that's not...
And he's going to go through Okada and Naito.
I know, that's true. It's a bummer, though. I don't know if he's the guy. I think he's over enough for me, for my taste. But that's fine. You got Ibushi win, okay.
Yeah, so I have Ibushi winning. And
Alright, so let's go to night 2.
Okay, so we're going to... Night 2, so we're going to start with the Junior Tag Team Championship match. Yep. We have Al Fantasimo and Taiji Ishimori, Bullet Club taking on Sho and Yo, Roppongi 3K. Who do you have and why?
Sho and Yo.
showing up.
Yeah, I think they win it. I think they're really gelling as of late. You know, I think they both could easily split off into singles as well. So I think they get the titles there.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. Yep. I think it's just.
Yep, I think it's time too. They've been junior tag champs for a really long time. I think the biggest part about why Wrestle Kingdom is so fun too, he had a lot of title changes. You can shake things up really fast. It's really fun.
British Heavyweight Championship match. Zack Sabre Jr. faces Sonata.
Ooh, this is fun. I'm going to say Sonata gets it.
Okay.
Only because I'm a big fan, and I feel like that kind of win, right? Getting him a singles win because he's been such a great tag team guy for so long. That's a big singles win for him, and he could easily drop it within a month and no one would care. It's just him winning that title on that show and then dropping it overseas again. I think it doesn't matter, but I think it gets him in the singles picture again.
That's fair. I'm going to go Zack Sabre to retain because I don't know much about the British Heavyweight Championship.
Right, it's the same title that Tanahashi beat him for.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just like,
yeah, for sure.
So the fourth match, so we're going to go based off the last night.
Night 2 was going to be fun.
Yeah. We're going to go based off night 1 because the winner of the U.S. title match between Jon Moxley and Lance Archer faced Juice Robinson on night 2. So you have
I have Moxley.
I
think Moxley retains then. I have Juice winning the tag title too, so I didn't know that was night 2 though, so that's weird. Yeah, I don't see Juice walking away with 2 titles.
Okay. So I have Archer winning, so I think Archer wins out and just is going to retain through both
Juice loses out. Damn, you're not.
I think Juice should win.
Juice has a rough night. I don't think Juice should win the U.S. title again just because he already held it and no one cared.
Yeah, he had it twice and no one really cared. Right. So, that was that. Okay, so our 5th match, we have the Never Openweight Championship match. We have Hiroki Goto challenging Kenta for the title.
Kenta should retain. Kenta is the only guy since Shibata to make, or Ishii, I would say, to make that title mean anything. And I'm really a fan of what Kenta's doing right now. The only reason I give that title back to Goto for like the 6th time is if you're going to take Kenta and you're going to elevate him elsewhere. And if you're not going to do that, then he needs to keep that title.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go Kenta also because I have no reason not to.
Yeah.
Because Hiroki Goto is just
boring.
He's boring. And
why he's never been world champion? There's a reason. He's boring.
All right. So our 6th match bases off the 2 losers.
Yep.
So you have...
I've got Jay White
and Ibushi.
Ibushi, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have Jay White versus Ibushi. I have Jay White versus Okada.
Right.
So who do you have?
I would have Jay White then beat Bushi because then I think, and I know Bushi's taking hard L's here, but I think Jay White then gets the win back from the G1.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get that from, and I think we get a fantastic contest in, you know what I mean?
I think Jay White also wins because this is their grudge match. I don't think Okada needs it.
No.
And so I think he loses. I think he can get steam back later.
Yeah.
I think Jay White can put him over the edge to get him down in the championship picture later in the year.
Forever.
To kind of take it from whoever wins later.
Absolutely.
So our second to last match, we have Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Chris Jericho.
This is a stretch match. So a lot of WWE fans, even if you're not, you know who Chris Jericho is. Right?
Oh yeah,
he's the AEW champion as of this writing, right? He should be, I would assume, going into January.
He probably will be.
Right, so he's the AEW champion. Future Hall of Famer, by far one of the greatest of all time. Tanahashi gets the win though. I don't see why Jericho wins this match. To be honest with you,
unless you're just making AEW look strong and have Chris Jericho win that way. But I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no real relationship with that. And 2, Jericho winning, what does that do for Tanahashi's staying? Chris Jericho's not. You know what I mean? So they can have a great match and people go, wow, it's a dream match. It doesn't matter who wins. It's like when they Naito and him face or Okada. It's not about who wins or loses. You already kind of know. Yeah. It's about the match and the fact that you got to see it.
Yeah. And so our final match of the evening, you have both the heavyweight and the IC title double championship match. So you have...
I got Naito
and Okada. I have Naito and Ibushi.
Right.
So who do you have?
Naito. I think, like I said, I think it's Naito's moment. I think it's his time to shine. I think this is the moment that everybody wanted 2 years ago when he was facing him for the title, and everyone's like, okay, Naito's going to beat him because he won it early in the year, and then he dropped it right back. And then everyone thought, okay, he's going to win. He wins the G1, and then he's going to go beat him, and then he didn't do it.
Yeah.
So now it's like... You have this opportunity to make up for that now, where I thought you kind of missed an opportunity a couple years ago. Now is that moment to go. He wins both of them, and then he throws them both in the air, and he leaves. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just like that iconic moment where he's standing there with both championships, he's the first guy to do it, and then we go right into the next night where they have an Intercontinental title, or they crown a new champion, or the next big show, and I think that's where you go with whoever you want. But I think that's the moment. I think it's finally the moment where Naito is, I'm the top guy. I beat the top guy for so long, which is Okada. And I think it's him, Ibushi, and Jay White who will run the next 2 or 3 years in New Japan.
Okay. I have Ibushi winning because I think his just uprising. I think it's going to end with him on top of the night with both titles, whenever winning it. So now I got both of them.
I would feel more comfortable with it if I already know he'd been world champion before. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm like, if you've been world champion, you believe he could be world champion at any point in time forever. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Except for the only exception I think is Jinder Mahal. He's the only guy that's ever been a world in any promotion, right? Where you win the world title, I feel like at any point in time you can be world champion. There's a theoretical possibility that the Miz could become WWE champion today. It ain't gonna happen, but he was champion before, so you feel like it could happen again. That's my only thing that's the only reason why I don't go Ibushi in these final four. Otherwise, I'd be totally on your wavelength for sure. But that show is gonna be phenomenal. Super duper awesome. I can't wait to review it after it happens and talk about how awesome it was, because it's gonna be flippin' fantastic for sure. Absolutely. All right, that's gonna be it for this week's episode 55. For the Missing Whaleman, for the Merc Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys as always next time.